You know that famous trope where the hero of the story meets his unknown evil twin? What if Groo was that evil twin? I have a theory. So what is an evil twin? An evil twin is a character archetype used in fiction. The evil twin is an antagonist to our hero or protagonist. They are often identical in appearance, but with a distinguishing physical characteristic, such as a goatee, a scar, or an eye patch. While similar in appearance, hence twin, they are opposite in moral character. Some examples of evil twins from my childhood are Mirror Universe Spock, Bizarro Superman, although Superman wasn't really my thing, Michael Knight's evil twin brother, Garth Knight from the Knight Rider TV show, or how about Carr as Kit's evil twin in Knight Rider? Some even consider Boba Fett to be a back-casted evil twin son of Jango Fett in the Star Wars universe. Now, you might think Gruella is Groo's evil twin, and I admit she kind of is. While Groo is strangely likable, Gruella is not. We are quick to forgive and overlook Groo's lust for battle and death, but it's easy to dislike Gruella as a tyrant. One major problem with Gruella is that she doesn't have a goatee, although there is that man-woman thing that makes a distinguishing physical characteristic. But no, Gruella is not who I have in mind as Groo's evil twin. I'd like to reframe the idea of evil twin in this case to an opposite twin. As much as we love Groo and overlook his murderous character, we have to admit Groo is a bad guy. Listen to what Sergio has to say.
Groo is a terrible character. Groo is a mercenary. Groo is immoral. Groo has no values. But he's no good. If he existed in real life, he'd be in jail a long time ago.
So even though our hero, Groo, is an evil guy, my contention is that he has a morally opposite sibling who isn't Gruella. So what's my proof? I admit it's a little tenuous, but let's have a little bit of fun as I tell you my theory. First, let's look at issue 41 of the Marvel Epic series, Granny Groo, where Groo is reunited with his granny and we are introduced to her for the first time. There are several flashback scenes in this issue with Groo, Granny Groo, and Gruella, including one on page 10, which I think gives us some very important insight and perhaps even some clues that Sergio is laying down that show us a little backstory into Groo's family. Groo recalls a childhood incident involving a broken vase and a sore bottom, where Granny Groo is walking away after dealing out some punishment, and there are two children in the background laughing at him. One of the two children is clearly little Gruella, and the second one is another child, perhaps a sibling, locked arm in arm with her. Note the identical tunic style that this child is wearing when we compare it to the tunic that little Groo wears. And in fact, the color, maybe it's orange, maybe it's light red, is very similar to what Groo himself wears. And of course, look at that nose. It's identical to Groo's and Gruella's and Granny Groo's. That is the Groo family nose. Examine the hair of this child. Although he has no headband, it is straight, just like Groo's. I submit that this is the third child of Groo's parents, Groo's twin brother. Next, in issue 15 of the Marvel Epic series, Groo and the Monks, Groo joins a monastery. And on page 11, we see him getting a haircut as part of his initiation. In the following pages, we see Groo wearing his monastic robes. Perhaps they're mendicant robes. I wanted you to see what Groo looks like bald. The monastic robes are just a bonus. I think Sergio is leaving us yet another clue to help us unravel the mystery of Groo's twin brother. Finally, we turn to the Death of Groo graphic novel, where there are two things in particular that I want us to investigate. At Groo's funeral, nobody wants to speak as Groo's friend, but plenty of people want to speak as his enemy, including his sister Gruella. Today I have become something I have always wanted to be, an only child, to which Groo laments, even my own sister. From this we might be able to conclude that if there is another Groo sibling, it cannot be another sister. Groo implies that Gruella is his only sister. I told you this was a tenuous theory. That would mean that the third child in the Granny Groo story is Groo's brother. Of course, there could be wiggle room based on Groo's wording and his less than ironclad memory. But it seems that Groo is admitting that he has but one sister. I know, you're all yelling at the screen. What about Gruella? She says, I am an only child. Well, this could be explained if Gruella thinks that her other brother, Groo's twin, is already dead. And for that, let's turn back a few pages in the Death of Groo novel. On page 9, we find a bald man with brown robes and a small pouch tied around his waist. King Crag, the evil and awful Flume Flume must be slain! To which the king replies, kill this man for looking like Groo. I present you a man who does not simply look like Groo, but who is in fact Groo's twin brother. Exhibit A, that nose. It's a dead giveaway, that family nose, and we've seen it before when Groo and his brother were children. Exhibit B, the mendicant costume. Certainly Sergio wouldn't leave such obvious clues and connections as to having the grown-up, bald twins dressed so similarly. And tying it in with a classic gag? What is a mendicant anyway? But what's to be made of Gruella's only child comment at Groo's funeral? Let's squash this one objection so that we can believe that Groo has a twin brother. Perhaps King Crag did kill Groo's twin for looking like Groo, and Gruella knew this, therefore she knew that she was now an only child. Or perhaps, and this is my hope, Gruella thought Groo's brother died long ago, leaving her and Groo as the only surviving siblings until Groo's apparent death. It's possible that Groo's brother went into hiding, maybe faked his own death, perhaps joined a monastery at some point in the distant past. This could even explain the monastic robes when he approaches King Crag. In any case, I think that if we want badly enough to believe that Groo has a twin brother, we can come up with a reasonable explanation for Gruella's only child comment. Well, perhaps I've convinced you from all the clues that Sergio has left that Groo does indeed have a twin brother. And knowing what we do about Groo's mercenary tendencies, I think we would be able to say that Groo is the evil of the two twins. I hope that Groo's brother is still alive. Wouldn't it be neat for Groo to encounter him again? Can you imagine what might happen? Hi, I'm Darren, the guy behind GrooTube. I started reading Groo in the early 80s with the start of the Marvel run, and I collected my Pacific Comics Groos quite soon after. So I've been a Groo fan for over 35 years now. I don't claim to be an expert on all things Groo, but I certainly have an appreciation for all things Sergio, which I'm sure you do too. So I'd invite you to subscribe to this channel if you're interested in watching more Groo and Sergio videos. I'd love to explore some more Groo theories that I've got, take a look at some of the hidden mysteries in the Groo universe, explore the development of Sergio's characters across the decades. As an amateur artist, I'd like to learn and maybe teach you how to draw some of our favorite Groo characters. And I'd like to dig into some of Sergio's non-Groo stuff as well. So what do you think? Did Sergio leave those clues so that we could discover Groo's twin brother? Did I present enough evidence to convince you of my theory? How do you think Sergio could bring back Groo's twin in a future comic? Leave your comments below, subscribe, and I hope you'll watch again soon when I'll be back with some more GrooTube. First, let's look at issue 41 of the blah 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 blah.